I'm freezing. I just got back from taking my dog, Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi. She's back there. Do you want to come say hi? This is Chi-Chi. I named her after myself. We just got back from running, dancing, playing on the beach, the frozen beach. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna film today, but I'm in a really good headspace for the first time this week. This week was, I don't even have the right words. Like, I could not make it through a single prayer. And I pray multiple times a day, but I could not make it through a single prayer this week without crying. It was heavy. I've just felt, I feel like the best way to put it would be overwhelmed. And yesterday I had a really good conversation with my grandma, and it's been on my mind ever since, so I thought I would make a quick video kind of touching on that. So I called her, and she's in Jamaica right now. But I called her, and immediately she could tell I didn't look myself. Like, she can read my energy so well. And she knew something was wrong, so she asked me, and I just told her, I can't even find the words to talk to God this week. I just keep breaking down, I keep crying. I had multiple meltdowns, didn't want to leave my bed. It's just been like a really heavy week. And my grandma, being the wise woman that she is, she gets this big smile on her face and goes, "That's so beautiful." And I was like, bro, what? And yes, I call my grandma bro occasionally, but I was like, what? And she said, "It's so beautiful. If you can cry to God, that's a beautiful thing." And I was confused. So I was like, "So explain, what do you mean?" And she said that your tears are a language that only God can understand. And I don't know where this woman, like, she just has a way of, I don't know, everything that comes out of her mouth, I want to get like tattooed on my body, because her level of wisdom is just extraordinary, and it comes out at like the weirdest times. Not that this was a weird time, but like, it definitely does come out at weird times, often. So I sat with that and let it marinate for a minute in my mind, and it made so much sense. My tears are a language that only God can understand. And then she goes on her rant about it, and I'll do my best to summarize, but basically, she said, God knew you before you were even a thought. Before you were even conceived, God knew you. God knows your heart. God was with you every moment since, like, before you were even created. God has been with you through your birth, before you could talk, when you first started talking, when you first started walking, when you made your first friend, when you had your first heartbreak. God has always been there. And even if at times, like when your emotions feel heavy, the way that I go to her, God is always there experiencing our feelings with us, so he knows. And when we cry, we don't have to elaborate, because God knows. God knows our hearts. God knows our mind. God knows our thoughts. He created us. He created them. And I just thought that was so beautiful and so powerful, because God understands feelings in a way that goes beyond the human perspective. God understands feelings beyond the human perspective, because we are only capable of feeling things based upon our experiences, but God created it all of it. So she told me, even though I couldn't find the right words to talk to God, I didn't have to, because God was there. God saw everything. God felt everything. God knows what's coming next. Even though I don't, God knows what's coming next. And that brought me so much peace. And I just thought I'd make a quick little video reminding everybody what my grandma reminds me, because I don't know, she's amazing. She is something special. She's a gift to me in every way possible, and I'm so grateful for her. And she gave me a really, really powerful example of when she learned this, because I like to poke and prod when it comes to her. When she says these things and I'm like, what are you talking about? I always will kind of get her to dive a little deeper. So I asked her, I was like, tell me about a time where you felt like it was just your tears were a language between you and God. And my grandma experienced, in my opinion, one of the worst heartbreaks any human being could go through when she lost her son, her youngest son. And it was something that to this day it's like unexplainable. Maybe one day I'll make a video talking about it with her, because we talk about it a lot. She was there, but there was an accident, a sleepwalking accident, and he lost his life, and in the process of it she broke her jaw. And so after, I guess I should embrace the crying, okay. But so after everything happened, when she had to go about burying her son and going over everything that happened that night, and it was beyond tragic, she couldn't talk. And I feel like that was a time where like she could talk, but like not, you know, your mouth was wired shut. It's not the same. And she told me that in those moments she would just cry, and she knew God understood, because God was there the night that she lost him. God was there the day that she gave birth to him. God was there through it all. So God knew the connection they had, the loss that it was for her, the way that nobody else could ever. See, this week is just an emotional week for me. But yeah, God knew everything. God knew the way that he was a huge piece in her heart, that she would give everything to have back. And even in those moments, she said the one thing that made her so mad was, even when other people would come to her, even if they actually had also lost their child, they would come to her being like, I understand, but they didn't. They weren't there. God was. God's the only one that's been with us through everything. And she said that was a time where it felt like her tears were just a language that God and God only could understand. And I felt that. I wasn't there that night, but even just off of the many conversations we've had about it, and I know she has so much peace in her life now, but after every conversation we've had about that night and that loss, because we all have it from different perspectives, I feel hers. My grandma and I are very connected spiritually. Sometimes people don't get it, and it's okay. I don't expect anybody to get it, but I see her and I feel her, and she has a way of always knowing what to say to me, because she feels me and she sees me. But yeah, even in that situation, I was so young when it happened, and it was a major loss. It was my first loss that I ever experienced in my life, and I could not make sense of it, especially at that age. Something so tragic and unexpected and bizarre. God got her through it. God brought people into her life that she to this day refers to as her angels. She can't even explain why or how or what. The only thing that she can do, the only way that she can explain it is that God was there and God put them there. And that changed her life. There has been so much wisdom from that horrible loss that she's been able to pass down to me. And it breaks my heart every time I think about it, clearly. But I also can understand why sometimes she says those things that she says, because the experiences that she has shaped her mind and her thoughts and her heart in so many different ways. And I just know it's God molding all of that, and I'm so grateful that I get to be somewhat of a byproduct of that, and I get to take my secondhand knowledge from her. Even though I've still cried plenty of times since our conversation yesterday, but I'm telling you, like, I don't know, it's my time of the month too, but like, that's no excuse, that's no justification for it. I'm never like this, but I feel like because I know that God hears me and God understands me, it makes me feel like it's okay, and I give myself space to release, and I give myself grace when sometimes the feelings aren't positive, because I trust God. And yeah, God was there through every friendship, through every relationship, every traumatic event. And he's not just there with us, he sees everybody's perspective. So if I'm upset and I'm hurting about something or someone, God's already there. God knows their thoughts, God knows everything. So I try to find the stillness in that, and the reassurance in just knowing that even though I might not be able to explain how I feel, he knows, and everything will work itself out because I just keep giving it to him. I give it all to God. That is all I can do. Anytime you feel like you're being crushed by the world, remember, God doesn't want you to focus on the world. God wants you to seek him. Don't focus on the world. Don't focus on your problems. Just go to him, and even if you can't find the right words, cry about it, write about it. I was trying to journal yesterday before I talked to my grandma, and it was soaked. My page is always smudged anyways because I'm left-handed, but yeah, my journal yesterday was a mess, a complete mess. But my grandma helped me gather myself and gather my thoughts. And yeah, so if you're ever feeling like that, like I said, just go to God. Your tears are a language that only God can understand. And be grateful that there is somebody that you can always confide in. There's somebody that sees, feels, and hears everything, that knows your heart, that knows your entire life story. God knows your entire life story from start to finish, to the chapters that haven't even been written yet. God knows it. God is watching you. God is with you, composing your whole life right now. So even in these moments where you feel like peace is never going to return, it is. You just need to seek it by seeking God. I don't know if this video is going to make sense. I hope it does. My grandma's coming back soon, but I hope one day I can sit down and share a little bit of her wisdom directly with you guys, because she is something special. She is something so special. And she constantly reminds me how special I am. I can feel God speaking to me through her. And I love that. Even just with some of her book recommendations, this woman will literally be like, you need to read this book right now. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna change your life. And it'll have like 1,500 pages. And I'm like, do I actually have to read that? And she's like, yes, you do. Because I got to read it when I was 52 years old. And it took me 52 years to have that wisdom. You deserve it now. Like she gets on me. She gets on me, but I love her for it. Anyways, I hope you guys all have, like always, I hope you have a beautiful day. And I love you all. I feel a little bit lighter. I'm probably gonna cry some more at some point, but like she said, that's a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna take that. Okay, bye.